Macmillan Audio presents The Hazel Wood by Melissa Albert. Read for you by Rebecca Soler. I went out to the Hazelwood because a fire was in my head. W.B. Yeats, The Song of Wandering Angus. Chapter 1. Althea Proserpine is raising her daughter on fairy tales. Once upon a time, she was a girl named Anna Parks, one of the legion of mid-century dreamers who came to Manhattan with their hopes tucked into a suitcase. Then she went missing. Then she came back and achieved an odd kind of fame, glittering from some angles, but dark from others. Now she's gone again, fled to a turreted house in the deep, dark woods, where she lives with her 5-year-old daughter and her husband, an actual royal. She just can't quit fairy tales. When I get her on the phone, her voice is as alluring as her most famous photo, the one with the ring and the cigarette. I ask if I can come talk to her in person, and her laugh is hot whiskey on ice. "You'd get lost on the way to finding me," she says. "You'd need breadcrumbs or a spool of thread." The Queen of Hinterland, Vanity Fair, 1987. My mother was raised on fairy tales, but I was raised on highways. My first memory is the smell of hot pavement and the sky through the sunroof, whipping by in a river of blue. My mom tells me that's impossible. Our car doesn't have a sunroof. But I can still close my eyes and see it, so I'm holding on to it. We've crossed the country 100 times, in our beater car that smells like French fries and stale coffee and plasticky strawberries, from the day I fed my Tinkerbell lipstick into the slats of the heater vent. We stayed in so many places, with so many people, that I never really learned the concept of stranger danger. Which is why, when I was 6 years old, I got into an old blue Buick with a red-headed man I'd never met and drove with him for 14 hours straight, plus 2 stops for bathroom breaks and 1 for pancakes, before the cops pulled us over, tipped off by a waitress who recognized my description from the radio. By then, I'd figured out the man wasn't who he said he was, a friend of my grandmother Althea taking me to see her. Althea was already secluded in her big house then, and I'd never met her. She had no friends, just fans, and my mother told me that's what the man was, a fan who wanted to use me to get to my grandma. After they determined I hadn't been assaulted, after the red-headed man was identified as a drifter who'd stolen a car a few miles from the place we were staying in Utah, my mother decided we'd never talk about it again. She didn't want to hear it when I told her the man was kind, that he'd told me stories and had a warm laugh that made me believe, deep in my 6-year-old's heart, he was actually my father come to claim me. She'd been shown the red-headed man in custody through a one-way mirror, and swore she'd never seen him before. For a few years, I'd persisted in believing he was my dad. When we left Utah after his arrest, to live for a few months in an artist's retreat outside of Tempe, I worried he wouldn't be able to find me again. He never did. By the time I turned 9, I'd recognized my secret belief for what it was, a child's fantasy. I folded it away like I did all the things I didn't need. Old toys, bedtime superstitions, clothes that didn't fit. My mom and I lived like vagrants, staying with friends till our welcome wore through at the elbows, perching in precarious places, then moving on. We didn't have the luxury of being nostalgic. We didn't have a chance.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?